There should be one other person from my team.
What's the name? Okay,
Uh, Her name is
Alex.
Elise Lopez. Yeah.
Okay, I just saw her raise hand. I'm gonna bring her in.
Okay, so this is an old application. We had spoke last time in June. We're coming to you on behalf of the Renaissance Towers Condominium Association.
Sir, can you do me a
And
favor? Can you state your name and who you are and
I'm
who
I'm
represented with this particular project? Thank you.
okay. I'm David Lubkin. I'm a structural engineer for Owendes Associates, and we're coming to you on behalf of the Renaissance Towers Condominium Association.
Thank you. You can continue.
Sure. So, the last time we had spoken, we gave you a background. The subject of our application was the chimney tower structure on the front of our client's building, and that the the question was whether or not that could be lowered by approximately 50 feet from the current height. And we had talked last time, and the outstanding question was whether or not this was a prevailing building, I'm sorry, a contributing building, and that it is not. Um, and so that was the only item that we were asked to follow up on, and that's what we're coming here to tell you. And yeah, I mean, we can go through our presentation again for anybody that wasn't here. Um,
Mr. Chairman, this is Coombs Hollis. I believe the request that was made was for the applicant to submit some historical data. I thought that's where we left off at the last minute meeting. Did I miss
Yes, Madam Secretary, I believe that was historical data, but also I think Commissioner Epps talked about other chimneys like that still exist in Newark.
mhm.
Yeah, Nakari brought up she wanted to know if it was contributing building, and actually it's not. And I think they were supposed to make some other submission or something, I think. Yes, it's not only that wasn't the only thing. I think you guys were supposed to make some other submission.
So, sir, were you able to make the additional requests and submissions to and give them to Kevlin as was requested?
No, I'm not sure what other submission was requested. I mean, my colleague is here too, and we had representatives of the association, and we were all under the same impression that we had made all the necessary submissions for this review, and that the only outstanding question was whether or not this was a contributing building. I mean, we acknowledge this, it is in it's in a historic area. It is not a landmark or contributing building. And so that was the only question. We acknowledge that it is there is other chimneys in Newark. I think that we in real time we had looked it up at our last meeting. But the what's unique about this are the accessibility challenges, because it starts on the fifth floor of a former factory, and there is commercial space surrounding the property. So accessibility wise, it is extremely difficult and is a large portion of the cost of this project. And so the idea was that if the structure were to be lowered, that it could be more easily maintained at a significantly less cost, not only now, but in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, this is Coombs Hollis again. Um, I thank the Mr. Lupkin for providing that acknowledgement. And I don't know if it's really necessary to go through the entire presentation again, because that was already presented at the June meeting.
Yes.
So if we can take that assertion that it's not a contributing building, I think we can kind of move on from from there without going through the entire presentation again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree. So commissioners, with him coming back with the information that is not contributing, does anyone have any questions?
I looked over the materials that the applicant submitted, and I do have concerns about lowering the height of it, but given that there's the Murphy Varnish factory whose smokestack of similar height was recently restored. I would be curious in this application if there's some kind of compromise between the current height and the proposed height of lowering it by 50 feet. Because lowering it by 50 feet effectively demolishes the entire chimney. So if there's some kind of balance here between the cost of the long-term maintenance versus lowering it by 25 feet or 10 feet, removing just the topmost portions of it that are in or might be at risk of collapse. Because I recognize that Newark was a really important industrial city, and that even among contributing or non-contributing buildings, there are very, very few chimneys. I think only 2 or 3 chimneys that fall within historic district protections. So I think I would be curious here what a compromise looks like, because there are really so few chimneys for an American city that was one of the nation's most important industrial powerhouses.
Mrs. Zhang, I believe the testimony that was presented at the last hearing was that there were some structural concerns presented, and I don't know, maybe Mr. Lupin can maybe speak to that.
So, I mean, it's the structural concerns are with the cracks and the condition of the masonry that makes up the chimney structure. And so by lowering the height to a much lower level, which we established as 10 feet from the closest roof area, the idea is that it is effectively shielded by the surrounding portions of the building, and access is very easily achieved with basic scaffolding around the perimeter. No other structural concerns beyond that. In the last time we had visited the property, and granted, we have commenced the design and bidding portions of this, it was not in a condition that we would deem structurally unsafe.
And what
Or
is the
else-
difference in cost between repointing it versus demolishing it? Because either way, you have to erect scaffolding to the full height of the chimney.
Right. So the costs, I believe, are very comparable. Like effectively, we submitted them. It's like the same. It's about $400,000. The difference being that in the future, when you have to do this, any repairs are done for less than $100,000. But from any future repair projects for full restoration, if it's left at its current height, would be a $400,000 project repeating every 10 to 15 years with interest.
Okay. So, I mean, 10 to 15 years seems very quick. I think it's the time difference between each cycle of repairs would probably be closer to a few decades than a few years, but basically the cost of demolition versus restoration are comparable. Okay.
That's correct.
Any additional questions from the commissioners? No more questions? So if there's no more questions, can we, is there any questions from anybody in the public here about this particular project? Secretary?
Hold on, let me see. There are no raised hand.
No raised hand. So, since there's no raised hands and he's answered our questions, can I get a motion to move for this project H25-048? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong-
072.
I'm reading the wrong one, sorry. 111 Marbury Street, H25-072.
Is it possible to make a motion to deny the application? or just to approve it?
That's a good question. I've never had to make a motion to deny an application.
Okay,
Yeah, I've never done that before, so that will be new to me.
a motion to approve.
To approve it, and you can just say no, yes, or no, or abstain. So can we get a motion from one of the commissioners to move on 111 Mulberry Street, Four Corners, 1125-072?
Mr. Chairman, this is Coombs Hollis. I think just for clarity, the scope of the application is to reduce the height of the chimney stack, not necessarily removing the entire chimney. So with that, I'd make that motion to approve.
Can we get a second motion?
Commissioner O2, I second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coombs Hollis, seconded by Commissioner O2. Okay. Commissioner Forsyth,
I abstain.
Commissioner Caldwell Epps. Still on that. Commissioner Zhang,
Abstain.
Commissioner Woodridge. No, that's not. Commissioner Coombs Hollis,
Yes.
Commissioner O2,
Yes.
Chair Smith.
Yes.
Motion carried, 3 in favor, 2 abstentions.
So the motion failed.
So we
Miller?
needed
five.
5 votes to pass this.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate your time. I think that Commissioner Zhang makes a good point about there may be a compromise somewhere in the middle, where if there's a height that does not limit that to essentially the lowest possible limit that my company would accept, maybe there's a chance or an opportunity for another application. But I appreciate all of your time and good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So is everyone gone? I don't think Linda's in the meeting. I just see her note taker.
Yeah, I seen she's there, but I can see her name.
Yes, just her note taker.
Just a note taker, and I'm not sure if Commissioner Woodruff is here either. So,
Yeah, he was in because he called me.
so can we move
All
on
right,
to
let's just move on,
application?
Anthony, because
Okay, so the next application is 29-39 Washington Street, James Street Commons. Application H25-089. Are the applicants here?
yes, I'm gonna bring them in. Okay, I think everyone is in. I'm not sure. I have some other names out there, but I don't see any raised hands, so
Oh, if Anita Thompson could raise her hand.
okay. I'm gonna bring her in.
And while you do that, I'll just introduce myself. Good evening, everyone. Jennifer Mazaway, Mazawey. I'm with an attorney with the law firm of K&L Gates. I'm here this evening on behalf of Audible. As the chair said, this is application H25-089. Our property is located in the James Street Commons Historic District. It is 29-39 Washington Street. And we've been before the commission several times for different exciting projects that are happening at the building. This evening, we're here to discuss a sign package that we're proposing for the building, a naming of the building, as well as the signs that will accompany that. And with me this evening is Aisha Glover, a global head of urban innovation for Audible. I'm going to have Aisha kind of take the lead in terms of our presentation. We also have Miss Anita Thompson with us. Anita is a consultant with American Display, who is our actual sign fabricator. And so if there are more technical questions that Anita can answer, she's here for that as well.
So this is Commissioner Smith. I just want to, for the record, state that you came to design review.
Hey, huh?
And
You got a couple of advice.
you came to the design review, and
I know you're working.
but two of the commissioners who were in design review are not here. I was there, and can you speak to what we spoke about and the recommendations we made, and what recommendations you made as you do this presentation?
Yeah, yes, Chair, we will. And Aisha, I can either share them or you want to touch on them as you're proceeding through the presentation. But we were here before for Design Review Committee. There were a few recommendations from the committee at that time, and we have followed those. Aisha, do you want me to get into them, or will you touch on them?
I can include it in my presentation, unless
Perfect.
Commissioner
No, that's fine.
has a
That's
preference.
fine. That's fine.
All right, so I will jump right in. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us again this evening. Also, just want to quickly introduce Abby McInerney, who is also part of the Audible team and led the branding and visual identity. I asked her to join this call. She didn't join the initial design review call, but there were some technical questions around, for example, the font selection and historical context. So I thought it would be helpful to have her here. Next slide.
Oops.
So actually, next slide, sorry. So just for some context, again, this building, 33 Washington, Audible has the lease on the ground floor. It's the first time in our company's history that we've taken on a lease for a non-business purpose. We're bringing in retail to this site. There'll be an anchor retailer on the kind of south end side of the building where we share the alleyway with the museum, Ballantine House, and then there will be 3 retailers facing the James Street side. There's kind of a middle center court. Altogether is roughly 15,000 square feet. And so the signage is meant to reflect, our desire to create a multi-use space for the community, local residents, students, employees, you name it. And the full building hopefully will be open completely by spring of 2026, but the initial 3 retailers by this fall. Next slide. So as part of the kind of landscape overview, we conducted an audit of all of branded spaces. So again, because it's a mixture of retail, entertainment, experiential, we looked at other public spaces in Newark to really think about how this space might fit in with the community. When we first opened the building, when we took over the building and we had the initial designs, we did several rounds of community outreach. We did a community charrette session. We had surveys open just for general feedback on how local residents would want to envision the space. We looked at other retail businesses, retail experiences, community experiences, other Newark spaces, of course, including the park, including the library, again, the museum as nearby neighbors, and inspiration. Next slide. We also really lean into nomenclature findings. So across the board, names were really informed by either architecture of the buildings, the location, or the experience that the space offered. And so as we step back and really think about Audible's investment in this space, we wanted to make sure that it remains a destination, right? Right now, nobody's kind of looking for 33 Wash as a place for recreation or retail. So for us, it was very important to name the building and to create the building itself as a destination. for those that are in and around the community or have seen the original plans we've submitted or the progress of the construction so far, it's also why we removed so many of the lower columns to really open up the space, bring in more light, make it visible for pedestrians, so that way they wouldn't have to really kind of search for the retail there. So from the architecture to the naming of the building, the intention is to open it up and make sure visibly people can see that there's retail. The commission previously gave us really important feedback around how to best open that up. So that way we're paying homage to the original architect of the building. And so where we ultimately landed with the design, both achieved that vision as well as the vision to ensure that the space become visible. So we looked at experience-inspired names, everything from the High Line to even Nike House of Innovation. We looked at architecture-inspired names, location-inspired names. We did not want this to feel like this is a sponsorship by any stretch of the imagination. So it's not like Audible branded. In that respect, we wanted to really be respectful of the historic district and where we are and the fact that this is for the community. So we were extremely sensitive about that too. Next slide. So this is kind of just a little bit of inspiration, both on bespoke elements, where there might be scalable identities or logos. Again, how we could best pair retail nostalgia with some modern elements. So trying to find a little bit of that balance as well without it just feeling really modern. And so this is just a little bit of a visual representation of where we drew inspiration from. Next slide. And then, of course, kind of iconic design inspiration, that those iconic architecture pieces, local heritage signage, some of that character. We wanted it to be grand but warm. So ultimately, on the next slide, where we pulled from the architect references as well. So this is the same architect, Walton, Beckett and Associates. You can see the similar patterns of these three buildings, two in LA and one in Jacksonville, Florida. You see the kind of simple typecast used in the naming here as well. Next slide. And where we landed was the pillars. So this logo, it really takes inspiration from the brutalist design of the space with the big concrete pillars kind of soaring 19 stories high. We use an extended typeface for the word mark, and the icon itself is actually inspired, hopefully you can tell that, by the architecture's really strong leading lines. So this really almost mirrors an angle of the building. You see three samples below on different variants of the logo and how it might be used. But just to give you a very quick example, while we're asking you specifically for the exterior signage, we thought it would be helpful to give you that context on how else this might be used. So there might be merch, there might be t-shirts, bags. We will likely do things in the court area where we're making the space available for community use, or if we do a pop-up of some sort, so there'll be flyers or social media promotion. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of an example of the different variations of the logo. Next slide. But again, the pillars mark, just to compare it to the corner of the building to really lean into how iconic it is. Next slide. Previous signage, we wanted to include this slide because we did hear some feedback. Thank you, Commissioner Smith, for the prompt earlier from the design review committee around the actual signage specs and length. I was a little surprised to hear some feedback of making the sign bigger, but the new proposed sign is actually the same size as the previous 33 Washington sign. So just to give you that context, we didn't want to go too big, and we wanted to kind of be respectful both of the architecture and not anything too, I was going to say obnoxious, maybe that's not appropriate, too loud or large. So this is also the next slide with the context. We had feedback from the design review committee of, okay, can we see a little bit more of a zoomed out? Because the initial visuals that we provided were pretty close, so it was hard to see. So we were hoping that this gives it a little bit more at scale. This also includes the streetscaping that the commission had previously approved, so that way you get a really good sense of the signage. And again, it's showing that it runs within those kind of 3 columns on top, and we think it's really tastefully done. We're using the version with the logo mark first and then the letters following. We did actually make it a little bit bigger. I think it's 6 inches. Keep me honest here. We have our signage vendor on the line for more of the specifics, but it's actually 6 inches on each side, so it brings it longer and a little bit higher. So we did take the design review committee's feedback in that regard as well. The other feedback was, this is a good shot, thank you. The other feedback was to explore stacking the water mark on top of excuse me, not watermark, the logo mark on top of the text portion of the logo. So essentially like the orange on top of the pillars wording, which would actually require us for safety reasons to affix it to the building. And so it would recess it back too far and interfere with the visibility of the pedestrians on the sidewalk in front of the building. So then we explored moving it up further, and then it kind of just felt like it was floating. So these letters, these channel letterings are on the edge of the awning of the overhang. So we did take the, again, design review committee's feedback to make it bigger, and we were exploring moving it onto the building, but the visibility either is reduced or it didn't look so great because it needed to be further up on the building, more like kind of obstructing those second floor windows, and we felt like it was a little disconnected. Lastly, the other reason why we moved away from exploring it on the building is there's uplighting on these columns, and so the uplighting would be interfered on columns 1, 2, and 3. Next slide. And then there's the 3 retailers on James Street. These are the blade signage that would be directly on the building, and these would be the retailers as well as a small branding of the pillars. So we did hear from the design review committee to use the orange above the pillars just to make it consistent with the front, because we previously had it all white, thinking about, these are lit. But with that feedback, we did make that edit as well on the retail signage on James Street. We have a little bit more detail here, and the signage vendor on, I don't know if we should pause for questions before we get into the technical sizing or anything, but maybe I'll just pause and ask how you'd like to proceed best.
And I'll jump in for a quick minute, Aisha. One of the other recommendations from the design review committee was for us to meet with the community before we returned today. And so were you able, between the time that we met with the design review committee and now, meet with the James Street community?
Yes, the James Street, the Historic James Street Association had a meeting on the calendar. So we had requested with the president if we could share some of these images and kind of just update the community on where we are, including some of the exterior signage. So that just happened last week. It was kind of a quick turnaround because the design review committee was the week prior. I had also received feedback that it wasn't a requirement to meet with the community, but we went ahead and met anyway and thought it would be a good opportunity just to share the images and get any feedback. So we did find it to be actually extremely valuable and got some good feedback.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
And Chair, the remainder of our slides are technical in nature, as Aisha mentioned. They're also part of a package that has been submitted to the board. We certainly can go into any
yes.
particular sizes as you would wish, but
So this is Commissioner Smith. First of all, thank you both. Thank you, Ms. Glover and your team for the presentation. Thank you for taking all of our recommendations and coming back, and particularly having the meeting with the community because that was a fast turnaround. So I really appreciate that you took everything under consideration. But for the other commissioners who were not in design review, are there any questions as relates to the proposed signage?
Mr. Chairman, this is Coombs Hollis. Just a quick one. Is this just the building signage, no monument signage proposed, correct?
Yes, just the building signage.
All
that's
right.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, any additional questions? If there's any additional questions, you could take your presentation down and Madam Secretary, is there anyone here from the public that may have a comment?
Oh, Kevlin, you're muted.
I'm seeing one Anita Thompson has her hand raised, so I'm
Okay, and
gonna,
Anita is on our one of our team members.
My apology. That was a mistake.
okay,
My
okay.
apology. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. We designed it. We're very good. We're very happy with it. Thank you so much.
So if Anita is the only one with a hand raised, is there anyone else there, Madam Secretary?
No, Chair.
Okay, great. So now that we've gone through the presentation and we appreciate all of you coming back with all the recommendations, may I get a motion to move to approve?
This is
29
Commissioner O2.
Yes.
I move to approve the signage.
For at 29-39 Washington Street, H25-089. You're making a motion to approve it?
Yes, what he said, yes.
Very good. May I get a second motion?
This is Commissioner Forsyth. I second the motion.
A good song, though, a really good song.
Both actually, yeah, thank you.
Motion made by Commissioner O'Toole, seconded by Commissioner Forsyth. Commissioner Coombs Hollis.
Yes.
Commissioner Zhang,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodridge. Okay. Commissioner Forsyth,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Toole,
Yes,
Chair Smith.
Yes.
Motion carry 5 in favor, 0 opposed.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you
much for
very
your time
much to the
tonight.
commission.
And
We
a happy
appreciate-
birthday, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Let me
going
see
out?
if everyone is out. Let me see.